Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to a new episode of Last Cloudia. We are now in the countdown towards the anniversary, so that's an exciting occasion where we get to see pretty fun events, so look forward to that. But in the meantime, let's talk about the banner that we have today, starting with the unit Granadas. So this is going to be a knight, so he's going to be a tank. Looking at his stats, 7,400 HP is really nice to see. Decent strength at 1202, defense at 1590 is to be expected, and even a mine at 1217 is pretty nice as well. From what I've seen so far in previews, having a high mine is going to be very, very important for this character. So let's take a look, and we'll see why once we look at the abilities and everything like that. As far as element or attribute resistances, he does have a positive resistance to wind by 10 and thunder by 25. As far as elements, he is nil to curse and resistant to both stun and illness. So nice to see. Now, as far as his abilities, a couple of things to note. The second skill is going to be your bread and butter here. Basically, he has a chance to taunt all the enemies. The higher his mind, the higher the chance that it'll work, is basically what this is saying. So that's probably the most important skill that he has. Now, his third skill does do a series of hits that will give a 20% buff to all allies' mind. And of course, you do get a damage cap of 4,000 for your efforts. And then his special also is important too. So basically, all your allies' skill and special damage that you're taking is dropped in half. So by 50%. So that's really, really cool. And you won't flinch from physical attacks, which is really, really nice as well. So that's a pretty good buff to get. So yeah, going to be pretty good on the tanking part here, because he's basically going to be enabling people to stick around and continue to do their damage while being able to do damage himself. Let's take a look at his traits. So we're looking at Imperial Anthem. Regularly give all allies a physical attack damage taken minus 10%. Damage from bosses minus 20% buff. And then when only one weapon is equipped, physical damage was 60% and damage cap 15k. So this is pushing you to do single will. Happy to see it. And then the second trait is Genbu. If attribute resistance is at least 1, won't flinch from that type of magic attack. Chance to nullify long range physical attack, damage taken, and then nullify defense piercing effects, nullify attribute ignore cut effects. So basically, he's there to make sure that one, he won't be flinching from magic depending on how strong his elements are. I mean, as long as he has a resistance in general, he should be good. And then also being able to nullify defensive piercing effects is also pretty good too. And then he also does, and ignoring basically any kind of attribute cut effects is good too. So all the elemental piercing I've always talked about on certain characters that I think is strong, he's immune to that, which is really, really cool. That's super strong. Now, you may need to do a little bit of tweaking as far as his ailment resist or his elemental resistances. If we go back to the summary, I mean, he's only strong to 2. So with the other 4, if you want to make sure he doesn't flinch at all, or if you just want to prepare for certain content, my recommendation would be just equip an accessory that might, up his resistance to one of the ones that he's either, null to or weak to. So either way, I think any kind of accessory that you give him should help you basically prevent flinching from whatever magic you're worried about, if it comes to it. Let's take a look at some of his magic and skills here. So he does have a charisma. So Imperial Guard's charisma says all allies defense plus 30%, which is really good actually. That could be something that you'll want for a start of a rough boss fight if they're going to do something crazy at the beginning, or pretty good for arena potentially. So there's a lot of good stuff there. We also have Roar, which seems new. Remove all strength, int, defense, and mind debuffs from all allies, which is not bad. This says, I forgot to read the rest of it, I'm sorry. It says once per wave, excluding some debuffs. Now, when it says excluding some debuffs, they're talking about special type of debuffs that are not your basic debuffs that you normally get in a game. Now we have a movable stance. So a unit defense plus 30%, strength minus 20%, more likely to be targeted by enemies. So basically this ups your attraction rate. We love to see it in a tank. Like it a lot. And then we have, as far as his actual skills, he has Resolve up 3 and Max. Again, boosting up that defense. We have Guard Vitals, which is new. So this is critical damage taken minus 10%. Specifically good for arena. So you can already tell by some of the stuff we've seen just in the little bit that we've talked about this that he's going to be a really good arena for defense and offense, really. So let's take a look at his guard package because he does have that going for him as well, which is really nice. So his regular guard, we have steel guard, heal guard, guard charge, grand guard, and EX guard. Now EX guard, not very many people have this, but basically when guard is equipped, damage taken during guard minus 15%. When HP drops to 50% or lower, guard rate up. So this is a really, really strong way to up your percentages of guarding. Guard is one of those skills that doesn't happen very often. I mean, it's a struggle to get that guard rate up. So the fact that we have something else that kind of helps out is really, really good. We also have Guard Bash, which I've never seen. Guard equip, when guard activates, chance to deal damage to nearby enemies and make most enemies flinch. This is also super strong. It's nice to see someone guarding and being able to somewhat counterattack in a way by basically just giving them a debuff. I like that. Or a status element, potentially. It also comes with Night Zone. I believe Shift Kyle has this. So more likely to be attacked. Front physical attack damage plus 10%. Front physical damage taken minus 10%. Really, really good tanking skill. He also has Knight Mastery, which I think Kyle also has this as well. I might be wrong. When unit type is Knight, defense plus 10%. Physical attacks effective against soldiers. Damage from soldiers minus 10%. So not bad. He also gets Human Shield. So that's super strong too. Just in general, we have Auto Fort. We have Stone Armor, which basically gives you a continuous stone wall effect. We have Earth Mega Drives to give you a little bit of damage and damage cap. Earth Attack Raise 2 for some damage. Stone Enhance, so Earth Attack damage plus 10%. Physical damage taken minus 15%. So not bad. We have Piercing, so that's always good to see. Chivalrous Mindset Spear. So there's an update to this. Chivalrous Mindset used to be like a specific thing for swords and armor. They're now adding weapon types to differentiate it. So now it's going to say Chivalrous Mindset Sword, and in this case, Chivalrous Mindset Spear. So basically, if you have a spear and armor equipped to them, spear strength and armor defense plus 50%. Nice little bonus. Cool to have. We have two-handed spear, which is good. Spear high boost. Now, the thing about a spear high boost and spear boost is they're very important for any kind of tank because this will up your physical defense. So I would highly recommend equipping and learning Spear Boost for this guy just to up his defensive rate some more. He also gets Phalanx. This is when armor is equipped, take killer slayer damage minus 20% and take crit damage minus 20%. Again, super good in arena. This is just a good defensive package for arena 100%. Now, don't get me wrong, I do think that he'll be good in PvE content. But I think that if you're looking for the best tank in arena, you can argue a case with this guy. I'll just say it that much. Skill charge 2, very important. His skill 2 is the one that helps you taunt and all that stuff. You really want that. And yeah, you want to be able to get that faster for free is good. Indomitable Spirit basically keeps you from dying and getting some buffs. Focused Will, duration of strength, defense, and mind debuffs taken minus 50%, excluding some debuffs. So basically, the time you have to wait to recover from these debuffs is cut in half. And then we have Fierce Instructor. Experience received after battle plus 100%, not stackable. I like this, and the reason I like this is because it kind of goes with his character. Because for anyone that pays attention to the story, this person basically works his team hard, works them to the ground, always forcing them to train, all kinds of stuff. So this really just fits the character. Now, obviously, this is probably not a skill that a lot of people are going to be happy about because you're like, well, what about some more attack skills or whatever? But no, this is built for his character, and I 100% appreciate that. I think that's really, really cool. I'm hype about that, specifically for the character building. So overall, I like this character a lot. I like something different. It's not all just about physical DPS. It's nice to have someone that's on the defensive side that can maybe make tanks. Maybe it's the start of making tanks relevant. Now, don't get me wrong. We've had a couple of other characters that are decent in tanking, like Kyle, Ruto, and even Gorm. The ship version of Gorm is not too bad. Now, I haven't built up Alphonse, but I assume he's not too bad as well. But I like this guy specifically because he has a really strong guard package. And he also has a lot of defense enabling stuff for his team. And what makes him fun to use is not only is he good on defense, but from some of the damage multipliers that we've seen, in some of his Earth Mega Boost type stuff, he can deal some damage too. So he can do both. He just specializes in the defense part, but he is going to do some damage. It's not like he's just going to sit there and tank all day. But overall, just a really, really fun unit. I like this guy, and if you were to pull him, I think you would get a good pull. So congrats if you pulled him. And now for the arc that comes with it, we have the SSR Aldana Imperial Order. Well, shoutouts to Yu-Gi-Oh! Anyway, only a few of you will get that one. So as far as arc traits concerned, he says boost your strength and defense based on the number of living knights allies. Match to 20%. I doubt this being a thing. Survive once and recover some HP first time lethal damage is taken. That's not bad. Armor equipped skill special damage taken minus 20%. Okay, that seems okay. Let's take a look at what we can learn here. So you get Vigilance, which is another thing that's helpful in the whole guard package. We have Armor Boost, again, and more tanking stuff. Earth Drive. I love the drive skills. Earth, any kind of drive or like high drive. They're really nice to have. They're a good SC saves. They're a lot better than the elemental boost and high boost, in my opinion, or attack raise, I should say, because they're just cheaper and they affect even special damage, which I think is more important. So I like that. We also get Royal Armor, nice to see. Sniper Shield, and then Aldana Iron Wall. So this is 10 SC. When party has at least 2 units and all are alive, physical attack damage taken minus 10%. Seems kind of expensive for what it is, so I don't know if I'm hype about this. It's kind of weird. I don't know. This seems more expensive than what it needs to be, so I don't know. I might be wrong about that, but personally, the most exciting thing on here to me, as far as goes, is Earth Drive. Other than that, everything else is just kind of okay. Let's take a look at the Arc Ether reward. We have the Imperial Valor Shield. So, this is an accessory. The stats are defense plus 87, mind plus 44. Chance to auto guard, continuous regeneration effect, and you get a resistance plus 5 to light and dark. I'm going to say this is okay, but if I'm not mistaken, there is an accessory that you can get from a different SSR that's super old and what would be considered outdated. But I think there is an accessory that's a lot better than this. I'm going to go check after I'm done discussing the arc. I think you can do better than this, to be perfectly honest. And I'll explain why. So, as far as the chance to auto-guard, if the character already has guard, I don't think this adds anything to it. So this is something that you would equip on a character that you want to use it and not have to waste SC on the guard skill. But if for someone that already has guard, this doesn't really mean anything. The rest of it is fine. Continuous regen is okay. Regen is not really a thing in this game unless you're like a boss, then of course you regen infinitely, but for just a normal character, it's really nothing special. And like I said, the resistances are not that great. I think there's an accessory similar to this that has better resistance to light and dark, so I'll be showing that after this. The defensive mindset is okay. Again, I'm not really impressed with this accessory at all. I really feel like we have an old arc, like from the old days, that's a lot better than this, that I would recommend. But as far as the arc overall, I think it's okay. I mean, to be perfectly honest, the only thing about this arc that I like is Earth Drive. Everything else I could kind of care less about. So obviously I'm not really too impressed with this arc, but it's okay. Okay, so as I was saying earlier, I think there was an accessory that's a lot better than what we got on the Ether reward, and I think this is the one. So it comes from the Golem Core arc. If we go take a look at the accessory Shield of Aegis, like I said, this is a very old one, but basically you get a defensive mind plus 55, so you're getting some similar stats. And then it says when automatic guard activates, damage taken minus 25%. So no, you're not really getting any kind of pluses to light and dark attribute resistance, but you are shrugging a quarter of the damage that would be taken when you're guarding. So I do think that this would probably be a lot better. And again, this isn't something that's trying to pretend it's adding to your guard. This isn't say like, like the other one said, it said like, chance to guard or whatever. This just activates when you guard. So when you guard, you're shrugging damage and you're getting some decent boost. So I think that this is going to be a lot better of an item. So, and I honestly recommend this accessory for any kind of tank with a guard package. This is arguably the best accessory for any guard build. in my opinion. I mean, I might be wrong, but this is what I put on my characters that run guard. So just something to consider. All right, let's talk about the credential items. So we have the Great Lance Zadris. So this is an Earth attribute spear. We have a strength of 243, defense plus 57, Earth physical attack damage plus 50%, continuous haste effect, boss wave start, special gauge plus 15%. So we have an item with the element that he uses on offense, which is okay. Strength is decent. Giving him a 15% damage is fine. And continuous haste is probably the best thing about this, in all honesty. Everything else is just okay. That's all I can really say about it. I just think it's a decent weapon, but nothing really to get super excited about. Although the special gauge plus 15% is good, the problem is it's only on boss waves. I kind of wish this was more of just on any wave. I mean, being that this is a paid accessory, or a paid item, I'm sorry, because this is a paid item in general, you should be able to allow more freedom of being able to do broken things, and that wouldn't even make this item broken at all. But I just think that putting limitations on paid items is probably not where you want to go if you want to convince people to spend money. That's kind of the way I'm looking at it. So again, it's an okay weapon, but I think it could be better. Take a look at the second item. We have the the Praetor Plate Sagrim. So this is an armor. Defense 280, mine 134, not bad. We have Battle Start, Auto Cast High Protection, and High Magic Barrier, so you're getting some defense there. More likely to be targeted by enemies. That's exactly what you want in a tank. Unable to feint from enemy attacks. That's awesome. Because we don't have a lot of good protection from fainting outside of an accessory. Or you can run a skill that lowers your chances of fainting, or your faint time. This item is actually really, really strong. You also get a +5 to fire and ice, which means that you won't be flinching from ice magic attacks, so you'll be able to protect yourself against Amelia and an arena, of course. And in a fire, it won't necessarily get you to where you're going to be resistant or anything. It just means you won't hurt as bad. And the resistance to stun is also good because it'll make you nil to stun overall. So yeah, this is a fantastic piece of armor for him. So, I mean, there's no contest as far as which item to get. 100% get the armor. Like, if you're only getting one. Because this is exactly what you need for a tank. I think the most awesome thing about this, and there's a lot to talk about in this particular thing, but being able to add to being targeted more is definitely good to see. Not being able to faint. I can't even talk right now. Also really good, and just a lot of the defensive buffs, all of the resistance that you're gaining from this. This is really the total package for you. This is worth spending the money on if you're going to go that route. But yeah, 100%. I say pick the armor over the spear. 100%. As a brief side note, nothing to do with the banner, but I just kind of want to briefly discuss, they do have some 5-star enhancements. Not going to go over everything, but I just want to draw some attention to Amelia. She was a character from the ReZero collab that we had a long time ago, at least a year ago. I'm going to say, actually, it's probably been over 2 years, possibly. I'm not even too sure anymore. Again, it's been a while. It's hard to say. But either way, so a lot of questions we have is, one, what does having a 5-star enhanced buff for these characters being? Because we got it for ReZero and DMC. So the big question some people might have is, does this mean that we're not getting a second collab? I don't know the answer. I hope we do, because, and I'm just going to start about with ReZero first. As far as all of the anime collabs we've ever had, the ReZero was 100% my favorite. This was the back in the day when we actually had story during collabs. And as far as all collabs with story, this and Dr. Stone were like the two. Those are like the best collabs we've had in terms of anime. And for players to not get a chance to see this, that didn't see it the first time, is missing out. I've been complaining for a long time that we just don't get story anymore for the anime collabs. So not getting a second run of this would just suck. And of course, it comes with some interesting characters. And so I'm highlighting Amelia here because this is the one that I pulled. during the collab, and I like her a lot. She's one of those characters that has a lot of elemental piercing abilities, and then with the E5 buff, she just does a lot more damage when you cut their element resistance enough, which is easy to do for her. So she's really, really strong as far as on the ice element. She's actually my favorite ice mage in the game. And as a matter of fact, when she first dropped, this was the mage that I used to clear tower. Like with all those like little elements that you have to use magic on, because she can cut elemental resistance with just by casting her spells, it made it easy for her to just kind of clear all of those waves without having to rely on other people's specials or using a rainbow mage or anything. Like this is a character that I highly, highly used a lot and recommend for those who have her. So yeah, so I really strongly hope that we get the rerun for this one. Now, as for DMC, I think that's another great one as well. I mean, DMC, that collab was the one that gave us access to our first ranking for, you know, like time trials and stuff like that. So I thought that was a really, really cool thing that they added. They had really, really good characters. I only pulled V, so the E5 buff for V is just okay. It's nothing really special to brag about. Although Amelia did get some interesting buffs, which I'm really, really digging and excited about using her again. But yeah, case in point, I really hope they do rerun those two collabs. And like I said, I don't necessarily need, you know, collabs to be rerun all the time. I think that every collab that we get should at least get one rerun, so we see each collab at least 2 times, and you can be done with it and move on, you know. And I mean, we already got Slime, which was the worst. The first time and the second time. I'm just going to be honest with you. You know, so if we can get Slime again, we darn well better get this one and DMC again. Just saying. But I don't know if it's a situation where, you know, maybe depending on like their agreements with the other developers of what we did the collabs with, I don't know what kind of agreement they have, so they may or may not be able to do a rerun. I just hope that they do. But we'll see what happens. But I just kind of wanted to just chat about that because I don't really talk about other things very often. So I figured this would be a chance for me just to kind of, you know, just chat. So hopefully this was a little bit helpful for you guys. And hopefully some of you are excited about some of the buffs you got for the characters you had. But I think that's going to be all for today. We'll go ahead and see who beat me in arena real quick. And I lost to... Well, actually, I didn't lose. Nice, I'll take it. Basically, in arena, I just do one fight per season and then let my defense carry me the rest of the way because I don't really care a lot about arena. I just do one attack just so I can at least get some rewards at the end of the season because I don't really take it seriously. But it's nice to see that I'm winning, so that's kind of cool. But either way, that's going to be it for today. Thank you for staying the whole time. You guys are awesome. And until next time, stay kind and grind, everyone. Later.